Today we're joined by a very special guest in studio, Oklahoma City Thunder and current free agent Josh Huestis. He's in Bozeman because he is teaching a Monday through Thursday camp. Just what is it about that camp? You started in Great Falls. Why did you decide to make a camp in Montana?
You know, growing up playing basketball here in Montana, I always told myself that if I ever made it to the highest level that I would want to give back in some way. So we did it in Great Falls last year for the first time, and then, you know, I thought to myself, like, obviously Montana is this gigantic state, and, you know, there's people who love the game of basketball all over the state, so we wanted to make it as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. So, you know, we decided to expand a little bit and move on to Bozeman, and we're really excited about it. Obviously, it's the first one, but we're really hopeful and really excited that it's going to turn out great.
And what do you teach in these camps? What do you do with the kids? Just an overall impression of a regular day inside the gym.
We try to do a little bit of everything, you know. The way I want to approach it is to try to teach kids all the basics and the fundamentals that I've used throughout my life playing basketball. A lot of the things that we're going to do in camp are still things that I practice on a daily basis and at practice with the Thunder. So everything's really important. Everything is vital to proper growth in basketball. You know, we have competitions as well as different stations and drills, so it covers pretty much everything.
And you talk about growing up just practicing the game of basketball. You had a unique upbringing as a child of adoption. You were born in Texas, and then I think it was the day of you were born, did you come right to Montana, Great Falls?
Pretty much.
What was that story?
Yeah, so it was a prearranged adoption. So my adoptive mother was actually in the hospital the day I was born. And then my, second day on Earth got transported up here to Montana, and we lived in Helena for a little bit, and then we moved to the Great Falls area. And so basically, I mean, not born, but essentially born and raised all in Montana. So yeah, it's been my home my entire life.
And you've had a great relationship with your birth parents as well as your adopted parents. How important was that for you growing up to maintain that relationship?
It was huge. I mean, I can't overstate how important it was to me. I think, you know, with anybody, identity is a big thing, and growing up and knowing, you know, where I came from and, you know, my family in every aspect, whether it was my birth parents, adoptive parents, all that, having a big family was something I loved. Having family all over the country, and I'm very grateful and I'm very blessed for it, because I know that there's a lot of people who don't have that luxury, and to this day, like you said, I'm still very close with everybody.
And I know, like, the foster system's a huge thing. How important was it for you to be able to have everything, be able to go to Stanford and really have that opportunity to excel to your potential?
It was everything. I mean, without it, without being adopted, I don't know where I would be today. I think being placed in a place like Montana with my parents put me in a position to excel and put me in a position to you know, do well in school, do well in basketball, and be able to follow my dreams and make it to Stanford and then the NBA. And I can't say otherwise that would have happened. I think, you know, I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy that was able to happen for me. And I think that the foster system is a great thing, and needs all the support that we can give it.
Now you've had a few years in the league. How would you sum up your first contract so far with the Thunder?
Oh man, challenging. You know, it's a different animal. Obviously, you know, from high school to college was one transition, and it was difficult. But you know, the transition from college to the NBA is something completely different. You know, night in and night out going against the best players in the world has been something it's pushed me. It's been tough. I mean, this past year was definitely difficult, but also beneficial because of the fact every day in practice I got to go against, you know, future Hall of Famers every single day and hone my skills. There were definitely ups and downs, but I've learned a lot, and I think it's made me better for it.
What was off the court the biggest adjustment coming from Great Falls, then going to Stanford? There's always that adjustment of schoolwork, but then going from a college to the NBA, there's the adjustment of the, like you said, the Hall of Famers, the playing talent. But what outside of the game did you have to adjust to, maybe real life or otherwise? Oh
man, just becoming an adult. Like there's, you know, I was so, I don't want to say unprepared, but I definitely wasn't fully prepared for what I was going to experience as well in terms of, you know, taking care of my own place, handling taxes, handling all the things that come along with being an adult, grocery shopping even, you know, doing the laundry. Those were all different things for me. And then the travel schedule would probably be a big one. Just the fact that, you know, out of every month we're probably gone at least 2 weeks, and there's times I'll be home for 24 hours and then I'm on the road again, or we'll be in 3 different cities in 4 days. So that's definitely an adjustment. But it's been good. It hasn't always been smooth sailing, like I said, but it's been awesome. I've loved it.
And now your next dream is kind of to get that second NBA contract. What would it mean to you to be able to sign that piece of paper with any team?
It would be amazing. You know, obviously getting the first one was a dream come true and an accomplishment in and of itself, but you know, an even bigger accomplishment is getting the second one. You know, there's plenty of people that are drafted into this league or sign first contracts, but the number becomes so much slimmer when you talk about signing extended contracts or multiple contracts. So being able to sign that would just be a validation of the work that I've put in and another step in my dream, and you know, pushing my career even further forward.
Now you see all those draftees, kind of, some will fade out, some will stay in the league. Mm-hmm. How hard is it to actually maintain a roster spot in the NBA? Incredibly
difficult. You know, the job that we have is obviously narrowed down to just a few hundred of the best players in the world, and every single year there's more and more people coming into the workforce trying to take your job because, you know, a lot of these people, this is their livelihood and this is a way to provide for their family. So it's a dog-eat-dog world. I mean, every single year there's more people gunning for your spots, and you can never take time off. You have to always continually get better. You know, the way I think about it is, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Someone always out there trying to outwork you and take your spot. So you always have to remember that.
What do you think is the most important thing for you going forward, displaying to teams, whether it's the Thunder or anyone else, that you can provide to them, that you can bring to their roster?
The opportunity to do so. I think, you know, any team that would have me would be happy to see the work that I put in and the effort that I give forth, and you know, just the attitude that I bring to the game and, you know, put onto the court. And you know, I think wherever I do end up, that team will be lucky to have somebody that plays as hard as I do.
You've spoken at MTN Sports before about the free agency, but just now, what is the factors in your decision? What do you want to see on that piece of paper or with that team that you're joining? What are the pieces that you hope to get out of it?
You know, I think the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is the pay, of course. But to me, that's not the main ingredient in what I'm looking for. Right now, it's just opportunity, and it's about the situation. You know, I'm in a position where I want to be somewhere that I can help further my career and get an opportunity to play as much as possible. And whether that's somewhere I may get paid less, but gives me that opportunity to get better, you know, that's more important to me than just, you know, being somewhere where perhaps maybe I make more money, but I don't get that opportunity. Right now, it's just all about furthering my career and getting better as a player.
Now, I'm a Syracuse guy, so I'm a big Melo fan. That's where I went to school. Him leaving the Thunder, essentially reports, that frees up a lot of space for Oklahoma City. Do you think that could potentially lead to you maybe staying?
I would definitely not rule it out. You know, Oklahoma City's been home for me for the past 4 years, and I love it there. So I would definitely not rule that out in any way.
And what have you enjoyed so far just about your time in Oklahoma City? What's the biggest thing that you've gotten out of it?
The people, for sure. Oklahoma City has some of the nicest people I've ever met, and they've made me feel at home since the day I got there. I've made some great friendships, you know, on my team and off my team, and those have been, you know, lifelong, and I'm really happy to have made those. And I'll never forget, you know, my first few years there and all the things that have happened and all the people that have meant a lot to me.
Now that it's free agency time, is this kind of trip to Montana, I know you're doing camps, but is it kind of like a nice getaway to come back home, kind of clear your head, work with a lot of kids? Is this just something you always try and plan for the summer? Maybe for that?
Absolutely. This is, like you said, this is my getaway. This is my vacation. I don't get to come to Montana nearly as much as I would like to, so, you know, I look forward to the camps every year so I can come up here and relax and have a good time. And just enjoy myself, man. Get away from it and try to be present.